Tropes. A thing you know, but when you see it, you don't know what to call it, but you know when you see it. A trope is a repeated pattern of doing something because of how effective it is. It becomes so saturated because of this effectiveness that it slowly becomes somewhat of a cliche, only being recognized for how common it is and how easy it is to spot within a game. Now, tropes aren't necessarily a bad thing, it's just when something's so heavily relied on, it becomes oversaturated. Like mayonnaise. You just apply it everywhere and it feels like you're eating all of the same sandwiches, and the same applies to video games, movies, and shows. Like watch, this is gonna be my YouTube video if I tried to make it more tropey. So, tropes in video games. It's more along the lines that they're things that feel copy and pasted, components that just feel like they're thrown in without any understanding as to why they work. Welcome to Blungo World. Gotta collect the 12 rainbow pretzels and trade them into King Demetrius to open the next level, the 7th Circle of Hell. Wait, this is just Dante's Inferno. So, come on, come all. Today we're going to be diving into the extravagant world of video game tropes that all could have been video ideas on their own, but I couldn't come up with enough jokes or ideas to make them full-length videos.
Well, too bad! I'm alive!
Yes! Just beat the final boss, the game is over. The last thing I'd expect is, oh! What a load of shit! It's a load of shit. The first game where I wet my pants about this was New Soup on the DS. God, it's like discovering ketchup. You think you got rid of that pesky Bowser until it turns out he has another castle just sitting around. And he's really capitalizing on this market, one for renting and one for living. He's gonna make it big on property. Now for me, just like it feels like when I beat a game, I don't necessarily expect for that final boss to be the final boss. I'm always just sitting waiting for the next thing to happen. So when it is normal and the final boss, as advertised, is defeated, it just ends and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. I feel empty. Thanks to Bowser, I have trust issues. Alright, because you guys obviously don't know how to watch videos, I'm going to explain how to watch my video. This is going to be the part where I tell you about where in games tutorial characters are the worst. I mean, I'll probably throw in some obvious mentions like Fee or Navi, and like throw some memes on screen, really like milk it. Then I go into a relatable reference that gamers have played. Piss in my cheese whiz! Has anyone else ever noticed that Morgana doesn't let you do anything else? He forces you to go to sleep? Has anyone noticed that? Has anyone else noticed that? Anyone, if you're out there, have you noticed? Please, somebody! Yes, there are the values of show don't tell that go against the idea of showing you all of this garbage as you're playing, but sometimes games just have a lot of buttons and Back in the day, Bowser had a whole kingdom that you could sauce up with a jump and run button. Now look at this. Spoon feed me, please! Make some of the stuff optional or have it appear if I decide to go in a certain direction, if I want to spend that time. If I'm looking just to play, why are you gonna halt my progress? Make it like Banjo-Kazooie, where it's fun, interactive, and skippable. Skyward Sword has a Wiimote on the screen for the whole game.
There was nothing we could do.
RPGs do a great job at building up your party members as individuals, having them step away from their prior dispositions to rise up against evil, building their characters through a sequence of events, only for it to not matter if Slongy Slinkson bites the dust. It really kicks my confidence in the pants that I'm really working hard in a battle, I'm multi-managing all the health and everything, I got all this stuff set up, and the one turn I decide not to heal my main character, the enemies randomly target them and just wipe them out with some crits. I spent 50 hours with you dumb asses, and as soon as I bite the dust, oh, there's nothing we could do. I guess that's it. I guess the whole world is fucked. Here we have music. And in gaming, you just have these nice, little hummable, very catchy tunes that play at the beginning of the game. How nice. Surely this is the last thing you'd think about when you're fighting for your life! You think Jesus had a boss fight? It's a pretty common trope that honestly may have roots in anime where the opening song typically always plays during the last episode of a season. In games, and I know you've heard it, often the opening melodies become reoccurring during the entire game, and it's something that's revisited when the tone of the game changes. This is called a leitmotif, and I personally call them dumb video game tropes because it puts a stupid smile on my face whenever it happens. It's being played off of my iPod from 2008. So let's make one of our own, a theme for Mr. Cat. Something mysterious yet quirky, something powerful though simple. And that's it, the simple little melody that defines Mr. Cat. But what if you could make it more? economics and shitting. But what you don't know is me and Kat have a deeply embedded conflict as co-hosts. Kat swears Alax fed him late. Alax swears he fed him at the exact same time as he did every day. A tale teeming with tension, drama, and romance? Two dichromatic ideals are thrusted against each other in an all-out war. I'm not gonna let you be cute and get away with it!
You're not gonna like this one. Let's get that one out.
Say goodnight! Bless up or mess up. Now, you could argue this isn't a trope, it's just a part of theming music to a game, but I do worry that it could be overdone if every game decides that their opening little diddle is now, oh man, the crazy boss fight. Imagine an age where we finally have high-quality music, visuals, voice acting, and processing, and we still have one-note silent protagonists. Why? You know who'd be a silent protagonist? Someone with crippling social anxiety.
Hey.
And then it gets into the problem of they're not even silent protagonists half the time. They just happen not to say a lot, and their personalities also suck.
Want to say a magic trick? I'm going to look up the Call of Duty protagonist. I cannot spell. White dude with a beard, white dude with a little bit of a beard, some dying white dude, some big bearded white dude, and Jim.
The Persona games often have you move to a new town. You're often a social outcast at first because you don't fit in, and that works, until you realize they are intelligent, confident leaders that ooze charm like spaghetti Play-Doh toys. But what made you so likable in the first place? Like Mario, he's red, he doesn't tip. Luigi has a lot more personality and things I can relate to.
Don't say his dick, don't say his dick, don't say his dick. His butt.
Video games telling you to solve disputes by hitting things until they start to sort of agree with you, because that's actually starting to sound like a good idea. First off, I've seen enough WorldStar videos to know even when someone's bruised and bloody, they still keep going with whatever dumb thing they're going on about. Second, anyone who loses would not all of a sudden be like,
Oh, what's the problem? Come on.
oh, you got me. Luigi has a better jump than Mario, so it's hard to beat you on those.
Yeah. Damn, you know, it's a good thing we're friends now.
Yeah.
Best buddies.
Bestest of the best. Never separable. Undertale really tugged on people's heartstrings because it brought upon the arguable, obvious choice of acting instead of just fighting, and it based a lot of its game around that. RPGs do this a lot, and that's sort of been my problem with them. You sort of just fight things in a very binary sort of way. Yeah, there are some dynamic sorts of fights, but why does it have to be just like this? I didn't initially think I'd like Dungeons & Dragons until I realized a lot of the fun of Dungeons & Dragons is being able to solve conflicts using more than just your fists. Maybe one day when computing gets to the point where we can have AI as complex as bullshitting DMs, then we can have more complex RPG battles. And I hate to rip on RPGs, but I love to rip on RPGs. Man, I love all this action it's telling me about. Meanwhile, it just looks like everyone's standing in a circle huddling for warmth. It's sort of cool, and the characters are proportional, but battling really takes me out when it just comes down to
I never don't ever rushing dragon punch. You're disgusting dragon rushing dragon punch. Time for my special attack. Rushing punch. Victory was always assured, probably.
Do you like playing games? Do you like having them at your fingertips in the digital age? Well, how about you have our state-of-the-art platform that you need to download, install, and launch in order to first play the game, but after you install it on our specific platform that you need an account and email for, and you gotta verify that first, and then you can play the game whenever you want. Okay, off the top of my head, Steam, Origin, Uplay, Epic Games Launcher, Battle.net, GOG... What? That's not real. On one hand, being in Canada for so long and having the two same phone companies and jacking up our prices, having only a few competitors kinda sucks balls. But on the flip side, I kind of just like playing my games, and I have to go to all these different locations just to play whatever new game of the week they launch. You know one thing I hate? Repetition. You know one thing I hate? Repetition. A popular trope in voice acting is to have characters repeat the same voice lines for a variety of triggered situations. A popular trope with voice acting is to have characters repeat the same voice lines for a variety of triggered situations. Sometimes it's charming.
Alright.
Sometimes it's... Other times it's Sonic Heroes.
Get all those Eggman robots!
This goes hand in hand with hand-holding and the handy-dandy tutorials. You know what games in real life have in common? The illusion of choice. Deterministic or no, it just stinks when you play through a game and you're presented with like 3 options for your character to do and you're like, oh wow, this is gonna change the story. And it doesn't do anything. It literally doesn't change a damn thing. Or it just kills me and I have to rewatch an entire cutscene all over. Why? This is gaming's biggest controversy. I had to hold this trope for last. An underlying preposition misplacing an entire generation of gamers into a cataclysmic affliction. Birds. Mainly seagulls. What the fuck? Why the fuck are they in every goddamn game? Fuck. The amount of universes and characters that seagulls cross over with, I think they're the key. It's the last remaining link between video games and the real world. It's just unprecedented. It doesn't make sense. I've never seen this talked about online.
Video game tropes are going to exist in video games as long as video games themselves exist, so instead of me casting away all games as I play them, why not just go back to the basics, you know, take it back, pretend nothing else exists and just play the NES. They didn't have the dumb tutorial guide characters, they didn't have the reoccurring, oh I'm not dead boss fights, the birds, they didn't...
Duck Hunt had one of the first leitmotifs in gaming. Fuck you.
So in conclusion,